Hi, welcome to the small shed. Today I'm going to be drilling some holes in seashells. See you in a minute. Now this one's a classic example of how one job turns into another, which turns into another. You can maybe recall I did the light box behind me some months ago, and then as a spin-off from that I had to make a light box for my wife so that she could transfer patterns for her quilting and tapestry type work, and we built the light box. Now the upshot of that is that the second project she's now done is an undersea wall hanging which has got a couple of seahorses on it, and she wanted to put some shells along the bottom of the hanging, and these were effectively on what would be meant to be the seabed. And really the best thing to use for that is to sew them on rather than gluing things to fabric, which she didn't really want to do. I did moot the idea of putting very small magnets in the back and something behind it to hold them, but I think on balance she knows sewing and therefore thread is the best thing to use. So that means I've got to drill some holes in shells. I don't think it's going to be a massive problem, but it's something I've never done before, so it's always worth a try. So let's see what we're going to use to have a go at that. So let's start off. These are the sort of thing we're talking about, little seashells. I've got a pin chuck that I use in model making that's just like a small drill chuck really, that it'll take very fine drills. All I'm going to do is just start and see if we can just drill a hole by spinning the drill on that. It's particularly slippery. Try it the other way around. Okay, much to my surprise, that won't even look at it. I assumed, we all know what assumed did, that this would be relatively easy to drill because it was only like a chalky sort of calcium type thing. But it does appear that a drill won't look at it. I'm just going to pop this into the electric, the hand drill, and see if that's got any better with a bit of speed. But it's almost like glass. It's amazing what nature does. Let's try that. It's barely scratching the surface. Okay, time for a rethink. Right, now it's time to break out all the toys, I think. I'm getting nowhere with the drill apart from breaking shells by the dozen. The weight of that hand drill is far too much when you're putting the pressure on the drill, on the shell itself. So I've got out my little rotary tool. The best ones of these really are the Dremels and the Proxons and the like, but this was a very cheap one that I got from B&Q many years ago, and it served me well. I've put the extended shaft on it, which will make it much easier to actually manipulate the drill bit by hand without putting any more than hand pressure that I can regulate on. Now I've decided that because these things are so tough, the only thing I can think that they're like effectively is teeth. And many years ago, before health and safety got to where it is today, I chatted up my local dentist and got some old drill bits that they use when they're drilling teeth, which are much harder, I believe, and hopefully will work. This thing is running at much higher revs than a normal hand drill, so I'm hoping that will get me somewhere, because as I say, this is far more akin to a tooth, which than I thought it would be. I assumed this was just a bit of soft like chalk, but it really isn't. So let's have a go with the Dremel type tool, multi-tool, with a bit. I'm going to use broken ones at the moment because I'm just getting nowhere until I can learn how to do it, but we'll try the dental burr in it. So again, in this instance, I'm putting some eye protection on. I'm short-sighted naturally, so I wouldn't normally wear glasses when I was working this close, but the bits flying up from this are likely to be a problem, so we'll just pop the glasses on and have a go. Well, that actually has done it. It takes time, patience, produces a lot of bits, but you can at least see when it's working. And what's even worse is that it does actually smell just like it does when the dentist drill gets hot on your teeth. But that certainly is working now, so all we've got to do is try and perfect a way of getting some of these done, because they're not all quite as substantial as that one. Still breaking some of them. Now, after a lot of trial and error and failures, I think I'm getting to where I can do it. You've probably all been screaming at me all the while that I'm doing it the wrong way. If you put the pressure on something like that, that's thin at the edges, it's just going to break. The best way to drill these is actually from the inside, with them sitting hard on the MDF, and that way you're putting compression down onto the shell, but only in that localized area. There's a point of contact on the other side into the MDF, exactly opposite where you're drilling from, and it's less likely to actually break the shell because you're putting pressure on it from above like that. So let's just have a go that way and see if we get anywhere. Yep, that does it, and you can see from the burn mark generates a huge amount of heat, so I think I'm just going to get a little spot of water to dip the tip into, and hopefully then we can just carry on and do the rest of them. This is the result so far. The shells are starting to get placed in position. You can just see the fixings on them very slightly, but it saves using hot glue gun type arrangements, which aren't really suited to fabric. Well, there we are, another one down. It's another small job that took a lot longer than I thought it would, but it's sometimes you just have to improvise and get there by hook or by crook. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look forward to seeing you next week. I'll see you then. Bye.